This down, the co-host of the hit show, The Five, our friend Judge Jeanine Pirro is with us. First of all, this is bizarre. You either enter the country legally. If you don't enter legally, you've entered illegally. That has been the term that has been used. There seems to be more discussion and talk about the term illegal than there is about the death of Laken Riley. And it's not Lincoln, Judge. It's Laken Riley.
And, you know, her mother, Laken Riley's mother, tweeted that it's pathetic that Joe Biden not only doesn't know her name, but that he can't pronounce it. You know what, Sean, what I want to do is I want to get one thing straight. Illegal is a term used by the United States Supreme Court in its latest pronouncement in this area of immigration in the case of Arizona versus the United States in 2012. There is also an Illegal Immigration Reform Act of 1996. Title 8 of the USC of the United States Code dealing with citizenship and immigration says illegal alien, unauthorized alien, and uses illegal immigration 93 times. So let's understand that this is what Americans know and understand because it's part of our law, it's part of our history. Now, why would the people on the left be more concerned about honoring the dignity of an illegal who is charged with massacring an American citizen, a young woman who had a right to be in the place where she was, and he didn't? And I got to tell you, Sean, I am sick and tired of this. Oh, they're here on parole. They're not here on parole. Just like the guy who killed a state trooper 2 days ago. He was arrested for domestic violence. He was arrested for driving with suspended license, not showing up, totally separate from killing the trooper. We call it parole. We don't know where they are. We can't find them. We can't get in touch with them. And for Joe Biden to minimize the death of this woman, the brutality that accompanied her death, and compare it to his son, and it's very sad his son died. His son was more than double the age of this young woman. His son died in a very civilized place, in a hospital in the United States. This young girl died alone in the woods with a brutal massacre where her face was literally distorted and unrecognizable. So I'm tired of the left. I'm tired of them taking the side of people who are killing. And it sounded to me like Joe Biden admitted not only that illegal is the term that we should be using and understands, but that they are killing thousands of Americans. And when Donald Trump was president, they tried to collect those numbers. We have the angel moms. I am tired of these people coming in. They are unvetted. We don't know who they are. They are released into the interior of the United States. Some are flown in from other countries. We pay for them. We educate them. We hospitalize them, and we house them. I've had it. We have got to stop this. And Joe Biden's amped up speech last night is never going to remedy the fact he doesn't know what he's doing. He created the problem that he now wants Congress to fix.
How repulsive was it earlier in the week? It was Tuesday night, and it was Super Tuesday, and the numbers are coming in, and these idiots over at the Conspiracy Theory channel, MSDNC, they're mocking and laughing at the idea that this is the number one issue. Well, I have a question. Are you going to be giggling in front of Laken, not Lincoln, Laken Riley's parents, who probably will never recover and ever be the same again? Or in the Commonwealth of Virginia, the 14-year-old girl that was brutally raped by an illegal immigrant. Are they going to giggle in front of the parents of that 14-year-old girl or that girl herself? I don't know what's particularly funny here, because it is happening all across the country.
The sad part of this, Sean, is that I spent 30 years dealing and trying to help and heal these victims and their families. This is like a thunderbolt that comes out of nowhere, and their lives are forever affected. And it affects their family and their friends and the community. And this is all preventable. But for the fact that Jose Ibarra was in this country, or all the other illegals, how many have we heard of just this week? An illegal shot a 2-year-old in the face, literally killed a 2-year-old. We've got to recognize here in New York City, we've got Tren de Aragua. They just found a body. It's cut up. It's probably MS-13. Joe Biden is responsible. But for Joe Biden reversing Trump policies, none of this would be happening. And Joe Biden wants to criticize Donald Trump. You know, Sean, I used to look forward to the State of the Union. I love it. I'm an American. I love politics. I used to stand up and cheer because I felt great to be an American. Whether you were a Democrat or I didn't care. This man is the most divisive president we have ever had. And that amped up performance last night was really a pathetic, divisive battle campaign speech, and it was inappropriate for where we are in this country right now from the guy who was supposed to be the healer in chief.
Judge, we always love having you. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.